Survivors of the Jazz brothers say yesterday's sentencing was not only healing, but also a monumental moment for Aotearoa.
And a leading sexual violence support figure in Canterbury agrees. She called it a watershed moment for the country. Juliet Speedy reports.
This dad has now seen the man who drugged and violated his daughter jailed for 17 years.
I'm very proud of the woman that came forward and put these guys away, and pretty happy that they got pretty much the maximum.
Danny Jazz 16.5 years, Roberto Jazz 17 years. A hefty sentence for what the judge called unprecedented crimes of disabling and sexual assault in New Zealand.
I think this is a watershed moment. It feels like a bit of a watershed moment. I think we're finding people talking about this in ways that they haven't done before.
Because the sexual violence sector, dealing with hundreds of cases each week, is now backed by more of a community empathy and understanding.
By denouncing publicly what you have done.
Plus, that hefty sentence.
And by imposing a sentence that will deter you, should you ever wish to offend again, but perhaps more importantly, others who may wish to do the same as you've done.
We don't always get quite heavy sentences in sexual violence cases. Sometimes they're surprisingly low, so to have one like this was a good result.
Newshub has spoken to 4 of the survivors after sentencing, including Sophie Brown, who said, "No amount of time behind bars could ultimately bring a true sense of justice to myself and the other victims. However, we are now able to put this in the rearview mirror and work on our own healing for good." The 2 women whose bravery cracked the case open. "We are both incredibly proud of all the brave women who have made this day happen. People do believe you. As confronting as it is and as vulnerable as it makes you feel to speak up, you will be heard by somebody and another. This is a game changer. A monumental moment for Aotearoa and how we tolerate sexual violence. For now, the women of Aotearoa have 2 less men to defend themselves from." Many of the survivors of the Jazz brothers have often talked about having an unbreakable bond with women they've never met. But yesterday, that changed. And after the sentencing, a group of them decided to go out together to properly connect and learn each other's stories.
The thing that I was really struck by was their solidarity and the way that they were just so collective in their support of one another and their bravery.
It must be a huge weight off their shoulders that this is an end of a pretty horrible chapter for all of them.
And the book thrown hard.
Would you please stand down?
At the Jazz brothers. Juliet Speedy, Newshub.